Hey, welcome back. Today we are going to have one logic app, logic app implementation, right? Maybe one or two logic app implementation. Probably one of the implementation we are going to have completely in Azure, and the other one will try to integrate the whole flow with the Dataverse, which is actually not coming under the Azure Azure syllabus. Rather, it's coming under the Power Apps, right? So we'll look into two different use cases. So yeah, mostly this will be our a last class for our Azure certification course. And of course, if you have any questions and queries, always reach out to me or Sanjay anytime. So we'll have this these two scenarios today, and we'll implement that. So what exactly the scenario we are trying to implement? The first one is like, I mean, hope you understood the logic app. What is the logic app? How it really works, and what are the different components? And those are main components we know. Like the if I recap a little bit of the Azure logic app, Azure logic apps, right? So this logic app is nothing but it's a workflow for business process, right? Solution, right? Business process solution. It's, I mean, any kind of business process you want to build, so you can build through this workflow. And what are the different components it has? It has trigger and has its processing, and has and the connector and the action, whatever you want to do, right? So those are the things, I mean, main important components available in our Azure cloud whenever we are building anything. So we are going to use this one, use these things, right? So what we are going to do, we are going to build two use cases. One use case is which exactly we are going to use the HTTP trigger along with the action, and the action will have the email action, which will try to send the message to our email Gmail account, right? Gmail maybe, or any kind of mail. You can have the Microsoft mail, okay, or you can have any other outlooks, or in any kind of email you can use, but they have different connectors. So we will use the Gmail connector, where we can able to the moment we are anyone is getting access to this particular HTTP endpoint, though there should be a notification has to there to the email ID we are providing. So what will be the data? For example, we are going to create one trigger, HTTP trigger. The input to that HTTP trigger will be method will be post, right? And then we are going to post the message, like maybe in the JSON format, right? And there will be two, okay, and will be name and subject line and detail what you want to send, okay? So that way, so this will go through a processing step, right? What processing step it will do? Will try to split this particular name and data available, or the full name available under this particular name, will split it into two parts, right? So there, what we are going to do, we are going to use some variable capability where we can process the data, right? Data processing capability, and we'll try to split that particular whole name to first name and last name, and we'll try to try to build the email message, right? And email components, right? So we'll look into that, and then it will alert to the Gmail. Right? So this one we are going to do. Okay. So here we have our portal, right? So from portal, what we can do, we'll go search for the logic app, right? create the create resources. From resources, look for logic apps, right? So when you go with the logic app, it will try to show lots of services, third party as well as the inbuilt from Azure. So here the logic app is, right. You can go here from and create it. So here, if you see, there are multiple plans available for logic app. So which one are going to use is like the consumption one, right? We already we already discussed in our previous classes, like what are the different kind of plans we have, and how those are really help to deal with the different kind of use cases, right? So in this case, what we are trying to do is we are going to build one multi-tenant, consumption driven plan where we can really use the shared compute. In the shared compute, in the sense like it will be lower cost, right? If it's a dedicated, if you're going to use the workflow service plan and it's dedicated, then what Azure will do, Azure will give you, give you a compute power, and that will be allocated to your account only, right? So in that case, what will happen? You have to pay more for that, right? And your service plan instance by per no, workflow service plan, right? So alongside there is another plan also under comes under standard only. So they have created they have built a new version of the environment, service environment, right? So there you'll get different kind of some additional integration feature, right? So that is also dedicated. So we are going with the consumption plan where it will be treated as a pay as you go, right? So that's how it will be pay per operation. How much operation you are doing, you'll pay for that. But if you go with standard, it's very fixed rate, right? You have to pay for that. So choose wisely whenever you are creating any logic app, right? So now whenever we are trying to build here, so this is where we have to provide a logic app name, right? So logic app name, let's give the logic app name like uh, email flow, or maybe logic app, right? Logic app. Okay. HTTP email, invalid, preview API. Okay. So HTTP. Okay. So, or we can put it with hyphens. Okay, so we can go with that, and we'll select, so my region will be East US. Okay, and we'll go with, do you want to enable the log analytics? We don't want at this point of time, so we'll go and next it will review our review the logic app what it's trying to build, and then we'll create one. Okay, so it's validated. Now we can create it. So once it will create, what are the things we are going to do? We are going to do at minimum two things. One is we have to add the trigger to build build a HTTP flow, and we have to add action to deal with the mailing system, right? Whatever the data we're getting. So let's go to the resource, and if you see, okay, in our functions app, we used to have one one ID, right, where we used to use the write our code and all, and using the VS Code as well. But here it's a UI driven, right? So if you go to directly the logic app designer, so here you will have drag and drop and configuration driven. Everything is configuration driven, right? Whatever you are building here, you can always look for the code, what exactly the code behind that particular flow. It's written from here. You can look for that, right? So here what you have to do, you have to add trigger. Okay, so so you can always explore other options available here, right? So there are straightforward, I mean, this kind of options are available in every other services, right? Only specialty available for this particular logic app is the designer, right? Through the designer, you can able to create the flow, right? So here, what you have to do, what we are going to add the trigger. So if you go back to our back to our whiteboard, so here we are going to use the HTTP trigger, right? Because we want to create one URL through which we can post some data, right? That is end of the day, it's a REST API, right? So that's what we are going to use. So let's go and search for. So that is move to the HTTP request. No, it's not under the HTTP exactly. So this is see URL will be generated after save, right? It will automatically generate the URL. So from here, what we are going to do, we are going to create a post method, right? Post method. So what should be our post? I mean the post method schema, right? Whenever we are using any kind of URL to posting any REST API you are creating, right? So we have a body, right? We have a request body. So in that request body, we are sending some data through that particular REST API. So there, what we are going to do, we can we can define here what exactly we need, but we can use the template as well. Here we can provide like what exactly the template we are using here. So what we are going to do, we are going to okay, and we're providing some data, okay, and name, some data, and name, what else we are trying to do, subject, okay. So here also this is string, right, and some description also, it's string, right? So in this case, so this will be the format of our message whenever we are going to post by using that particular URL, HTTP URL request we are going to use. So what it will do, see, it's automatically created the schema definition for us, right? So we just needed to provide the what exactly we need, right? So extra parameters, do we need any extra parameters? I don't think so we need anything, right? So that's where it is, and then we have to save it, right? The moment we'll save, we'll get a URL, right? Here this is the URL, so we'll copy it and maybe paste it somewhere. Otherwise we can able to go there and find it always, right? So not a problem. So next, what we are going to do, so we'll add one action. So as I said, like we'll go and try to find no find the name and add something called variable called first name and last name, right? So if that is the case, then let's go with the data processing, data operation, right? Variable, right? So we want to initialize one variable here, right? What exactly we'll do here? The first name, right? So what will be the data? Will be the string. And what will be the value? The value will be here. So if you see dynamic, so these are the things we are able to. So these are the things we are going to get from our HTTP request, right? See, whenever we have defined the schema here in the trigger, so the same way we are able to get those things here, right? So we can, get this one, right? So this is the name we are getting. This is the full name, okay? Or maybe first name, we don't know. But we are expecting like we are getting a full name. So full name will come up with space, right? Space. So what we'll try to do, we'll try to apply some function here, right? The so this is the string, right? And what we are going to do, dot split, right? We split that name with by our space, some space, right? Space, and what it will be. So it will have two things. If we are sending the name called Smartechie space lawn. Okay, then in that case, Smartechie will be the first name and lawn will be the second name. I mean the last name, right? So it will do like that way, right? And then this will return an array, right? This will return an array. So we have to select the first one, right? First means 0, right? Then we are trying to get that particular, ideally this thing you used to write in the programming, and this is the instruction we are trying to, expression trying to put here, so that we can collect the first name, right? And we'll try to add it, right? And then what we're going to do, and we'll save it, and then oh, something is not working. Okay, something is broken. It's not able to save it. What exactly it's trying to say? This is string dot split. Okay, this will be an array. What exactly it's saying? Update, and to try to save it. So invalid message template. So some error is showing, right? So this split expected end of data, but left parenthesis is okay. So maybe the single quote is creating the problem. Left parenthesis is, let's ask for the couplet. So this is the syntax where you have to provide this and no, it has to be single quote. It cannot be double quote. So double quote is considered as a character. Okay, yeah. So we have to check like what exactly the error it's throwing. Let's see the review the input output. Okay, it's not super helpful here. Okay, so you can always go and search for how you are splitting, right? Split string and right. So you can always split with the function. You have to write it like this at that array. Okay, so there is no split call, right? So if we go and look for the code view, so in the code view, it's not added yet, right? This is the split it's trying to use it, right? Rather, we have to do in a little bit different way, right? We have to split by string, and we have to give the comma. So the split function itself is a parent level, not the variable level. So here, let's try with this, right? Split, correct? And then this is the name you are getting. And then what we are going to do, we are going to split by space, right? This is the separator, and this is the text, what we are going to send it, right? And then we are gonna collect that first. Try to update it, and let's save it. Okay, this is saved now, right? So it's trying to do whatever try to collect the first name, right? And then what we are going to do, we are going to add another action which will try to send an email, right? Try to send an email and as an action, right? So let's go there and we'll see email, right? Email or Gmail here. So here, send email, right? We are not going to get email or delete email. Rather, we are going to send email according to our trigger we got, right? So send email. While you are going to send email, what we can do, we can provide one connection string here, right? The connection string You can say what exactly the connection name we can provide. We can provide like, Smartechie Gmail, for example. Okay. So I'm going to connect to my email ID, one of the, okay. Use a default shared application, sign in, right? When you go for sign in, it will ask for, logging into that, right? So I'm going to provide the login here, and I'm continuing and accepting that whatever it's that I'm providing the, policies, right? Previous policies and all. Then we have to allow it. The moment we'll allow it, so it will try to connect that to the Gmail. Now, where you want to send it. Okay. So we don't want to go for hard coding here, any specific particular, portion. So the email I have used to send from that email ID to will be something different, right? Where you want to send it. So here we are not going to write any hard coded email address. Rather, it has to be dynamic. Whoever will send the detail, these details, right? This email ID will be sent to particular these two email ID, right? Whatever the email will send, it has to send to this particular email ID rather than hard coding, right? So for that, what we have to do, go here, go to the dynamic content. In the dynamic content, what you'll find one two, right? Add this one. Okay. Now you'll see different all other options. You want to CC someone else, you can always choose that. Okay. And you want to make it priority, the importance, you can put it importance. You want to add a subject line, you want body part, right? You want attachment, you can always attachment, right? So now if you go here, you have to configure that again. Importance, what is the importance? It's always high priority. Okay, make it high priority, right? Here, what should be the subject line? It should not be the hard coded. You can hard code it, or you can also provide some dynamic message, right? A dynamic message. To provide dynamic message, you have to come here and select the subject line, because this subject line is coming from the external world, right? The whoever is using the HTTP request, right? Add this, and here this is the body part, right? In body part, you can compose your whole body part, like the email body part, like how you want to compose your email ID, right? You can say hello, right? Hello, the name. Where we'll find the name? The I can find the name from the request, or I can find the fast name. I want fast name. I don't want to say like hello XYZ and PQR, right? I'll just say hello XYZ, right? So in that case, we'll go to the dynamic. From dynamic, we have a variable, right? From the variable, we already store that variable, whatever we got the name, we have splitted and got the fast name. We'll select that fast name here and add it, right? So this is fast name, we are available here, right? So now what we'll do, hello, we got an I got a message for you. Okay, for you. Okay, thanks. For example, admin. So this is what we are trying to, send. So in this case, so here is the message. Here is the message. Or here you go. And then we have a description. What exactly the message we want to send in the message body. So go here again, go the dynamic content, and from here we have a description, right? You can send it, right? Description. Okay. And in this case, what you can do, you can say like you're this, and you're going to, bold it a little bit, and you are going to maybe format it a little bit, right? And whatever you want to do, right? You can always format it accordingly, correct? So now this is something we have already done, and now this is our workflow, right? Our workflow is ready. Now this is ready to test, right? If you want to, test it, so how can we test? So now see, we have a trigger, we have some processing, data processing, and we have some action, right? And we are going to do. So it has to be, has to be called, right? So how we can execute this one? So copy this one, right? And go back to the postman, because somewhere we have to execute that, right? So maybe we'll post it somewhere here. Okay, I'll just paste it that whatever I have copied from there and pasted here. And our method has to be post, because we have created a post, post method, post request, right? Then what we'll do, we'll try to go for and try to provide the details, right? Let's, for example, in the two, we are providing this, right? No, smartechie@gmail.com, right? And what we are trying to send the message, hello, welcome, right? Correct. And the body, instead of body, we are going to send description, right? Because our schema is, in our schema there is a description, right? One thing we miss is name, right? Name. So name, what we can provide, like maybe, right? So this is the name. I'm intentionally giving one space here and two first name, last name here, for example, so that we can able to test that what we have already implemented over there, right? And try to send it, right? Okay, 202 accepted. And let's go back to our workflow, and let's check the history, run history. Okay, one succeed now, right? Just now it succeed. And in our last class, we discussed like how we are debugging this particular logic app. See, here it's instantly it's showing the status of that particular flow on the component, right? It's all success. If you don't have an error, then there would have been one exclamation mark, so showing the alert like there is an error, right? So now everything successful. We saw the history. Now we'll go back and see like how it's look like, right? If it's, I mean, we are able to see that or not, right? If we got the email or not, right? So we'll go to the email. So see here, hello, welcome, right? And hello, Smartechie. It splitted that. We provided the name called Smartechie space learn as a full name, right? It captured the first name, hello Smartechie. Then it tried to do. We got a message for you. This was our hard coding, and here you go was hard coding, and this was the dynamic data, right? We are thrilled to welcome you on board. Hope you will enjoy the ride, right? So exactly the same thing we have given here, right? We are thrilled to welcome you on board and hope you're like, see, we didn't have any hard coding stuff here. However, we are able to send those things, I mean, and dynamically, right? So you can always see like what is the status of the request as well from the run history, right? And here you can do that. So this is how you can build the workflow, the business, your business process use cases, right? So this is one of the use case by using the HTTP trigger. Rather, we can go and build the other one called which can integrate to the Dataverse, right? So for that, what we can do? Let's go back. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's first, okay, you have created one, logic app, right? Logic app. So maybe you don't want to, keep it running, up and running, and someone will use that. If anyone will use this, you have to pay for that, right? Rather, do it. I mean, you know, uh, okay, you should be able to disable this. This doesn't have disable. Anyways, in overview, you will find a disable here. Okay. So here you find a disable, right? You can always disable this so that no one can able to use that, right? So if you are keeping this on, because this is serverless, right? It's not it's not asking you any money. if you are not using this. So it's you have created, but you want to keep it with you, but you don't want to enable it. Okay, just make it disable so that anytime you want to use it, just enable it and use it, right? You don't have to recreate that. Always, if you want to recreate, delete and recreate, you have always a way to get the template and upload that template, right? So that way. Okay, then. Thank you so much.